are starting this morning with a developing political story. The U.S. Department of Justice told Texas that razor wire along the banks of the Rio Grande is illegal. The Justice Department also said it might go to court to get those buoys removed from the river in Eagle Pass. You remember just a few days earlier, a Texas state trooper wrote an internal email saying his colleagues at DPS that they treat asylum seekers inhumanely. Congressman Joaquin Castro has been the most outspoken on this latest situation. Castro, of course, is a Democrat from San Antonio. Congressman Castro, welcome back to the program. The Texas Department of Public Safety's Office of Inspector General, its investigative arm, is now investigating these claims. What do you expect to come from that state investigation?
These are not, fantasy or allegations from some bystander. This is a DPS trooper himself who works as a medic, who was writing an internal email about what he called inhumane practices. And so what I hope happens is I hope that Governor Abbott will stop those inhumane practices, these barbaric practices. And really, all of Operation Lone Star has been much more of a political stunt than anything else.
For our viewers who might not realize it, it is a federal responsibility to secure the border. Why do you think we haven't heard from the Biden administration on this?
Listen, that's a good question. And I'm not just going to reflexively defend the president here. The president needs to speak up on this issue. He needs to say something. The administration needs to take action. The Department of Justice needs to fully investigate this. The Department of Justice has been looking into Operation Lone Star for over a year, but has not put out any report about their assessment or whether they believe there are any civil rights violations, for example. So I think, of course, I have great respect for President Biden. I agree with him on a lot of stuff, but this is a place where the president needs to speak up.
Can the federal government do anything to stop this?
They absolutely could. The Department of Justice right now could issue a cease and desist order. They could go to court and pursue an injunction. They could file a lawsuit to stop this. The president can use his own bully pulpit to speak out and ask that Governor Abbott stop. At the same time, I want to be clear, we want the president of the United States, of course, to speak up. I want the federal government to take action, but there is one person who is responsible for this, and that is Governor Greg Abbott.
Last thing here, there's a state investigation. The Office of Inspector General is investigating from DPS. There are interviews like this with different members of Congress, different leaders in the area. But is this going to be anything more than a headline, do you think?
It's got to be, Jason, because this is inhumane. This is barbaric. If it's only a headline, if we're not hearing about this next week or next month, if there's no action that is taken, if the president doesn't say something, then I think it reflects a failure of American society. It reflects a kind of moral failing, not just of Greg Abbott and others who are carrying this out, but if there isn't action taken by this administration, if there is nothing spoken by this president, then it's a moral failure of everyone, including Democrats.
Have you called the White House?
We've reached out. I said the other day that I spoke directly to the Secretary of State the night that the news broke. I read him the title of the article and read him the first paragraph. He expressed deep concern. He did say, and one of his assistant secretaries said, that they were aware of not those particular incidents, but the situation, that they were concerned with respect for human rights. They were concerned with a violation possibly of treaty obligations. But again, all of that has got to turn into action. All of that concern has got to turn into action.
Congressman, we always appreciate the time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.